Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the Get Total Wealth video podcast. I'm here with a friend of mine who constantly brings me gifts, and I appreciate it. Brian Buhr. He has an amazing book collection, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But it's all about the success mindset. I think that you've probably got it mastered way more than the average person, probably better than I do because of the amount of reading that you've done, including some collections that are very rare. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to throw him a pitch, and what I mean by that is I'm just going to throw him an idea to speak about, but he's got a wealth of knowledge, highly successful individual. He'll not admit that because he's a humble guy, but this is somebody you really want to listen to. The pitch that I want to throw you is this. I've been talking a lot on the radio about giving yourself permission to succeed and how people are in vehicles that can never ever take them where they want to be financially.
Right.
You know, they've got a job or a self-employment. They've been doing it 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years. They're still not in the financial position that they want to be in. And what is your take on that? Why do people do the same thing over and over again when it doesn't work?
I mean, I really think that, honestly, I don't think they know what's out there to take advantage of. The only thing that would possibly free them from something that they may not want to do the rest of their lives is going to be cash flow. It's just, I mean, you know, ever since I attended something that you taught years ago, I mean, I don't invest in anything that doesn't have some type of cash flow component. Because that's all I live on today is cash flow.
Yeah, it's amazing. When my son was 8, I started telling him, you know, you need a second stream of income. Sure. I would explain to him when I had opportunity. I didn't, as odd as this sounds, I would say things like, you know why I'm with you right now? Because I have a second stream of income. If not, I'd be at a job right now and I wouldn't be able to be at your event. And I'd just drop that bomb and walk away.
Yeah.
And I did that every year, multiple times, until he graduated college. He had $4,000 a month passive income from his 11 rent houses. And people are like, well, he must be super brilliant. He must be a super hard worker. Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's a hard worker, but no more brilliant than the average person, no more hardworking than the average person. He just knew the right things to do. Mm-hmm. If you had been their dad, the viewer's dad, you would have done the same thing. You know, it's not taught to people, so they don't know there's another vehicle out there, which is your point. I'm just trying to build on your point of it's all about the cash flow, or what we're calling it, the second stream of income. When you started building your second stream of income, at what point did you realize how big a life changer that was going to be?
Well, I was trying to free myself from my monthly income that I was getting from my job at that particular time, or
right.
in my career. And I was making a pretty decent living doing what I was in medical device sales. And that's when I started buying single family rentals. Okay. And I knew I was like, I'm gonna have to accumulate a lot of these to basically free myself or retire myself from that. But at least that was the only opportunity that I had to like discover, like there's a way to have this type of residual income, you know, whether it be from rentals or whatnot at that point. To at least start that idea in my head, because I was just in the market at that time, the stock market.
Gotcha.
Taking the losses, for better or for worse.
And no cash flow.
No cash flow, yeah.
Yeah, for me, the first time I got a check in the mail, you know, it was nerve-wracking buying the first rent house. And then I got that check in the mail the second month. Yeah, because the first month I collected it one-on-one. And I got that first check, and I remember going, I need 20 of these.
Right.
I need 30 of these. And I went and I sat down and I pulled all my bills together and figured out exactly how many houses I needed based off the cash flow from that one house to defeat that corporate dependency. Now, I went a little bit nuts and quit my job early because I was wholesaling. So I was making enough wholesaling to pay my bills. The cash flow was really icing on the cake at that point. What are you looking into now? Let's talk about your portfolio now.
Sure.
What do you have now?
I do a lot of multifamily. I invest in other people's deals as a passive, as a limited partner. I like to really look at the sponsor who's running the deal, and I'll do that. I do a lot of private lending. I think probably 90% of what I do on from a cash flow standpoint is private lending.
Okay.
I do have some paid free and clear real estate, my personal residence. I have some rental houses that I have lines of credit on everything so that I can lend against it. But yeah, I mean, I really that's all I do is I have an income problem at the end of the year with all the lending or some of the notes that I own or finance or I'll create myself. And then I use the multifamily, the K1 depreciation accelerator. I use that as my kind of like tax savior, if you will, if I can get as much depreciation against my earned income, and try to protect my cash that I created.
Sure. How many multifamily units are you invested in?
I have 3 commercial deals with Alan Schnurr. I don't know if you know Alan. You know Alan. He's from.
I know of him, but I never met him.
And then probably with Jason and Rob, I have probably 2 investments with them. It's 25 unit. One's a 35 unit. Fairly small, but the commercial.
What are the other 3?
It's all commercial, retail.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's all So Alan runs those, but I'm just a limited partner in those.
Let me make it clear let me take a moment to talk to the viewer. If you're not familiar with passive investing, that's what I do and he does. And what we do is we find people whose passion is managing real estate. Mm-hmm. I don't really like managing real estate. I love to put the deals together. Yeah. Man, I get excited putting it together and figuring out the numbers and getting it closed. But the minute it closes, I'm like, oh. But if you look at a Robert Martinez, Robert literally starts slobbering on himself when he talks about a new deal. Right. And you're like, golly, a sponsor like that, I'll give you some of my money because his passion is running those deals. Right. And that frees us up. We do nothing in these deals and, make 10, 20. I've gotten as high as 30% cash on cash rate of return. I've actually gotten in the hundreds, but that is a rare bird. It's an exceptional deal. And we do nothing. Right. So then on your active side, do you have a current employer or you're just all on your own?
So I had medical companies that I sold, and whenever the medical device industry it just wasn't fun anymore. Yeah. Part of my settlement, or I guess they bought our company and I had to work for them for 3 years. And then at that point I just wasn't corporate American material. And they were like, they let me go. So I kind of retired from medical device. And
it is psychologically different when you go to work and you don't have to. Right. One of 2 things happens. You either go to work and you freaking love it because you don't have to be there, right. Or you go and you go, man, I don't have to be here. I don't like this much. It's not as much fun as I thought it was. Right. And you just get out. Or they finally walk in and go, you got to go.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So what keeps you busy now? Just looking for deals?
I do. Yeah. So I'm always constantly trying to work with banks to extend lines. I like the note side of life. To be honest with you, I don't like to be a landlord anymore. I like paper. I like to lend short-term, high-interest origination points. Love it. Love owner financing paper. So I mean, if I can't find something that I can buy that's underwritten well, I'll just create it.
Wow.
And then my wife services all my stuff. So she helps me collect the documents for underwriting. Most of my family's in notes now, so that we took their retirement account. We're cash flow heavy. We just love, that's what,
Yeah, that's very cool. I remember I was at a company who frowned on that, but everybody that I talked to went, no, I'm making a good 20, 30% rate of return on my money when you add the fees, upfront fees, and the cash flow. And I was like, man, this sounds like something that's real. And now that I see you doing it, it's like even in my head even more that we may start talking about this at Total Wealth Academy much, much more. Mm-hmm. With all that said, you're involved with a Think and Grow Rich program. It was a movie. Mm-hmm. It's out now. Tell us a little bit about that.
So how that originated was it was like on an ad. Right. It was the movie. They were going to make the movie. They were raising money through, I think, Indiegogo was one of the crowdfunding platforms that they used.
Okay.
And because the book impacted me so much, like it has millions of people,
including me,
I was like, I just happened to receive a commission check that particular month, and I was like, I would love to contribute to the film at whatever capacity, and just to be a part of that film. And there were certain contribution levels where you could actually do a testimony, or you could actually be in the featured film, no speaking part. But I was like, a testimony, I would love to just be able to say basically a thank you, to give back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did it. And then they called you up and brought you out to California, where they filmed your little segment. And but it was a great experience. I got a chance to meet the directors, a lot of the cast. We did a red carpet premiere.
That is so cool.
It was really fun.
For those of you who aren't familiar with this, Napoleon Hill was basically interviewed by Andrew Carnegie and offered a job at zero pay to write this book. And it is without a doubt, I believe, the most powerful self-help book that's ever been written, because all you can do is build on that material.
Right.
I've had people take his material and make it more clear, put it in a different light, make it easier to understand, but it all goes back to them,
right,
to Carnegie and Napoleon Hill. So how can people watch that film?
I was told it was on Amazon Prime. I went to try to order it there online. I still can't find it, but we have. You can actually, there's a site you can order it from where you can watch it online. DVDs are almost non-existent anymore. You can't order a DVD, but I don't even have a player.
I don't even have a player either.
I know. That's great. So they're still selling them. But I was interesting.
They're like $16.
$16, yeah. It's hard to find it, actually. A lot of other people are saying they're having a challenge downloading the video, believe it or not.
Well, we have a web page. We're now affiliates with the movie.
Nice.
And we have a web page that we're building, so I'll keep you posted on that, and you'll be able to get to it that way. But I have not watched it yet, but I will watch it this weekend because I'm super excited to see what they did with it, what parts they left out, because Napoleon Hill was a radical. For his time. In fact, a lot of people, didn't he get accused of being a Satan worshiper or something garbage like that?
I think he was accused of fraud. I think he had a lumber company where he was accused of it was if you Google it and in Wikipedia, he was accused of something where it was pretty weird.
Yeah, it was outrageous.
Yeah.
And of course it turned out not to be true. But people didn't like him because he was anti just get a job and work your whole life. And people thought, well, if everybody does that, there'll be no worker bees. But the truth is, not everybody's wants the top. Not everybody wants a lot out of life. They become very complacent. They lower their expectations, and they just kind of survive. Not everybody wants to thrive, so it's not going to hurt the system at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, Think and Grow Rich, if you have not read it, you need to pick up that book. Tell me what your favorite book is after Think and Grow Rich, that was written after.
This is going to sound, it's not even really that famous of a book, but it really helped me. I've read it when I was in college, and it was Kiyosaki's it was his first book, not the Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was If You Want to Be Rich and Happy, Don't Go to School. That book was like, okay, Dad, I wasted my money. You wasted your money. I know everything I need to know in these books right here. And and so that book actually helped me. It was an interesting book. It basically challenged the college, the education system, how people are A, B, C, D, how things are graded.
Yeah,
it was really interesting.
The book, when I read it, because I read that book right after I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, just because I promised I'd read everything Kiyosaki ever wrote. But you know what my son said? The day he graduated, he goes, "How much was that?" I said, "Well, it was about $80,000 total." He goes, "I wish we had bought 4 more houses."
Right.
I was like, man, gave him a big hug.
Yeah.
I was so proud of him because he got it.
Right.
He was like, man, because that was our average out of pocket on those 11 houses was $20,000. Yeah. So he did the math real quick, and we should have bought 4 more houses. I should have skipped school.
Yeah.
School is great for certain people. Don't get us wrong. There are certain things that require, if you're going to be a physician, if you're going to be a dentist, if you're going to be this or that, if that's your passion, go to school. But if you think college is going to make you wealthy, it's not designed for that. It's designed to make you an employee. Wealth classes have to be learned on your own by watching podcasts like this and reading and so on. I'm finishing up what has become my second favorite book, is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And I'm telling you that I was listening to it, driving down I-10. I was so upset with myself that I missed my exit. And when I came to, I didn't know where I was. That's how upset I was. I was also listening to it one morning. I'm going to say it, pissed off at myself. And I'm going, man, I forgot to put water in the coffee maker, and I'm yelling at the coffee maker. I was just totally out of it. That book consumes your brain, because he had every challenge in the world, abused as a child, witnessed horrible things. He was black, so he was called names. There was racism. There's no reason for him to be successful, yet he did it. And the part that got me was where he lost the 109 pounds or 108 pounds in 3 months, and how he sat in that icy water preparing for SEAL training. And I'm like, I can't even get myself to train 4 days a week. I'm down to 3, 2. Now I'm back, but it's directly a result of that book, because I was becoming a loser. And he woke me up. Have you read that yet?
I have not. I've seen him on his YouTube, like his story behind him. I have not read his book yet.
Yeah, it's gut-wrenching. Yeah. Gut-wrenching. And the audio is fantastic, because a podcaster reads the chapter, and then the podcaster and David discuss it.
Oh, nice.
Then they read a chapter, discuss it. And he adds a bunch of stuff to it. But the thing I like about it is when an author reads their own book, I think they pull punches. Well, when he's on that podcast, David doesn't pull any punches. He's straightforward. So if you have not read that, pick up Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. It's phenomenal. So what is your plan for the next year, 2 years? What are you going to keep doing notes? Do you think you might buy another apartment complex? Or
I mean, I'm always looking for good deals, good sponsors who have good deals, and I look at the sponsor actually more than the deal. To be honest with you,
I do too.
I like that. But yeah, I mean, my life objective is to keep my monthly living expenses low, keep my cash flow continually growing, and life just gets easier and better. And that's my end goal. Is I just don't screw it up, Brian. That's that's my end goal.
Yeah, my big trouble is monthly expenses. I am a spender because my parents were it was very hard for them to spend. I've got this emotional attachment to, if I want it, I'm going to get it. So that is a bigger challenge than people think. But I do keep all my cars paid for. The only debt I have is on the beach house. So I agree with you. That strategy does, because when the downturn comes, or the 9/11 comes, or whatever, nothing happens to us.
That's true.
You don't care, So I guess that's as much as I wanted to ask you. I truly appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Those of you that are following Total Wealth completely and doing the radio podcast, I'm going to get him on the air right after this and ask some different questions, so you can watch for that podcast as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.